So this morning, the president of PBS, Pat Mitchell, announced that she was resigning. It comes in the wake of controversy concerning this little cartoon bunny named Buster. I work at WGBH also, which is the affiliate who produces Postcards from Buster. So this is a letter from Henry Beckton, who is the president of WGBH. He sent it to all the employees of GBH, and this is a little bit that he said. While we understand that there's a wide spectrum of opinion in this country on same-gender relationships, we at WGBH disagree with PBS's decision not to air the show. That's why we will air the program here in Boston and distribute it to stations who decide to air it. So WGBH defied the Department of Education and PBS and aired the show. They're going to air it again in a couple weeks. And they gave it to every station who wanted to air it. I actually got a chance to sit down with the senior editor of Buster. He's not representing WGBH. Everything he's saying is his personal views. Let's talk to Jean, who is the senior editor from Postcards.
So Buster is a show that's about this bunny who goes on a nationwide tour with his dad, who's an airline pilot.
Hey Buster, where you up to? What you up to, Buster? Where you up to now?
And every time they stop somewhere, Buster just hangs out and meets people. But he turns on his camera all the time. He just can't, kind of like you, he can't stand it. He's always turning on his camera. So every time he goes somewhere, he sends a video postcard home.
Where you gonna be? Who you gonna see there? Let's find out whose hands will shake. See the things you've done? We could have some fun there. Let's find out what friends will make. He's got his camera and he's gonna explore all the new things he's never done before.
Buster goes to Vermont and he meets these kids whose parents are same-sex parents. They have two moms.
Your mom has arranged for you to spend some time with Karen.
Who's she?
She's a photographer who used to work with Mom. She lives here with her partner Gillian and their kids.
I should get this on video for Mom.
Hi, Buster. I'm Gillian.
Hi, Gillian.
Hi. Come on and meet Karen.
Okay.
Oh, Buster, look at you. You look just like your mom. You have to meet my kids. Hey, you guys. Buster's here. Come on out.
My name's David. I'm Emma. And my name's James.
That episode is like every other episode. I mean, he goes in and he discovers stuff that kids are interested in, like maple sugaring and milking cows and what's it like to live in a rural area. He's very curious and he's asking questions and he wants to know who's in your family and you have brothers and sisters and can I meet your mom and dad? Well, in this case, he meets mom and mom.
These are all pictures of our family.
Is that James?
James, David, and I, and Gillian.
So Gillian's your mom too?
She's my stepmom.
Boy, that's a lot of moms.
Yep, this is Mom and Gillian right here.
That's a nice picture.
This is one of my favorite pictures.
How come?
Because it has my mom and Gillian, the people I love a lot.
Buster is definitely not on a mission to understand homosexuality. There's no such context whatever. I mean, there's no context like that in any other culture we go into. When we make a movie about Mormons, Buster doesn't start asking them about the prophets. The big bomb dropped when Margaret Spellings, who's the new Department of Education secretary, second day on the job, sends this really angry letter to PBS saying, this is not what our kids should be exposed to. I'm very upset that government money is being spent on promoting the gay agenda. I mean, she didn't say it in those words. And I'd like you to consider giving us the money back that we gave you to make that specific episode.
Do you know how much that would amount to?
It would amount to about $400,000. Like, she was just coming down on PBS saying, you know, we gave you money to make this show, and you came back and gave us this dreck. We saw it coming. We had a guy on the team who's kind of conservative, and he watched the show and he went through the roof and said, this is outrageous. You know, and then we got the blog came out about the show. Somebody read it a month or two in advance of the broadcast.
Visit my very own Postcards from Buster website at pbskidsgo.org and my blog. That's my travel diary.
Sent some hate mail saying, why are you going to see the lesbians? And now I'm not going to let my kids watch your show anymore. I thought it was great, but now I'm going to shield them from your polluting influence. It just kind of spread like wildfire, and then the Margaret Spelling's letter to PBS was the culmination of a long kind of trail of disgruntled, angry people. So I mean, when Margaret Spelling's got it, she was already getting advisors saying, check out this lesbian tape destined for 6 to 8 year olds. Well, I mean, I think Margaret Spelling's did something totally out of line, totally outrageous, abuse of power. To me, it's discriminating, it's extreme prejudice, and it's scandalous coming from someone who's the chief educator in our country to teach children about hate, discrimination, and prejudice, which is what she's doing. And it's also a case of censorship. Like, she doesn't understand that the deal was that you give the money, but you don't have the editorial control. She doesn't understand that idea. That's a basic premise. And then when all of this trouble happened, we stopped going to them and asking for money, and everybody just got scared to ask for money from those people. The Department of Ed has money from taxpayers to spend in education. $5 million for season 1 is what Department of Ed gave us. Now we can go on and get Buster on the air by finding a corporate sponsor or some other sponsorship and so on. But I'm not too optimistic about that. Juicy Juice or whatever, they think they get a lot better bang for their buck if they go on Nickelodeon and those cable outlets. The staff at GBH that worked on Buster all scattered on other projects. I think that the series is in jeopardy. I think it could easily go away. The producers are under fire. It could also spell trouble for future funding for Arthur. Margaret Spelling's already said that she's no longer going to fund public television for kids. She's going to fund public television for kids that she thinks is saying the right things. So we're going to, we already know that she's prejudiced and discriminatory and bigoted and hypocritical. That's not making television.
I think your mom's really lucky to have a kid like you. Thanks. I think you're all really great, too. So that was my weekend in Vermont, Mom. So I hope you liked this video postcard I made just for you. I've never been to Vermont before.